Okay, class, good evening. Let's continue our exercises at the end of section 6, chapter 3. So we'll be dealing with number 31. Okay, so the question is asking us to refer to this graph, f of x, which is here, and they want us to find a through h. Okay, now keep in mind that what they're asking us to find is an inverse function. So let's find the inverse function from this particular graph. As I said before, you want to be able to write down the points at which our f of x exists. And that's going to be, so for our solution, step 1, if you want to find or graph the inverse function, step 1 is to find the points of f of x first. Okay, and in doing so, this is a point right here, 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 and this is a point right here. So those 5 points. You don't have to plot all 5 points, but I just chose that just to be able to show you an example. So the first one here is going to be -4, 4. Okay. The next one here is going to be -2, 2. The next one is going to be here, and that's going to be -1, 0. The next one, which is right here, and that's going to be 0, -2. And then the last one, which I could use a different color, right here is going to be 3, -3. And as I said before, all we're doing is we're going to actually exchange or swap our x and y components. So in this case, so for the inverse function, this is right here, f of x points. For the inverse function, we're just going to swap the locations. So this is going to be 4, -4. Okay. And this one is going to be 2, -2. And this one is going to be 0, -1. And this one is going to be -2, 0. And this one is going to be -3, 3. Okay. And then what we do now is we plot these points. Plot all these points right here. In doing so, you're going to get -4. I'm sorry, 4, -4. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You come down, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first point right there. Okay. And then our next point is 2, -2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Then our next point is going to be 0, -1. And we're right here. I'm sorry. Oops, that's wrong. 0, -1 is right here. And then -2, 0 is right here. Okay. And then we have our last one is going to be -3, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3, -3, and go up 1, 2, 3. It's going to be an open circle. Okay. And then we can just plot these points here. Okay. So this is the inverse function right here. Okay. This is the inverse function. Now we're asked to find A, the domain. Okay. So your domain, again, you can, this is domain of f of x. and then the range of f of x. And this was, when you're looking at this, this is your f of x right here. Okay, when you look at that range, you can see, I mean the domain again is along the x-axis is going to be 4, 3. Okay, again this is 4 on the x-axis, going all the way like this, and it stops here, and it's open. That's why it has a parentheses. And then for our range, we're going along the y-axis. Okay, and the lowest point, as you know, is going to be -3, because we're right here. And then the highest point is going to be +4. Okay, and that's closed. We'll just erase this part right here. Okay, so we're done. Now, all you have to do at this point now, just remember that when you're trying to find, this is for f of x. When you want to be able to find the domain of the inverse function, they typically just swap. From the range now becomes the domain. The range of f of x now becomes the domain of the inverse function, while the domain of f of x becomes the range of the inverse function. And now this is just going to be, sorry, it's going to be, it's going to be -3, 4, and here is going to be, sorry, it's going to be like that. Let me do that correctly. And then this one is going to be 4, 3. Okay. Now let's go for, so we found A and we found B. This is B. So this is A right here. This is B right here. We found this. We found this. Now they want to know, what is the y-intercept? Well, the y-intercept, C, just tells us where the graph crosses the the y-axis. Okay. So our C, okay, let me just get rid of these right here. So our C is going to be -2. D, D is asking us to evaluate f, the inverse function of 0. So you're looking for, at this point, you're looking for f of 0, f inverse of 0 is going to be right here. And when you come down, it's going to be -1. Okay, A, B, C, D, E. Our E, f of the inverse function of 2. So you look for 2, 1, 2, and then you find the y corresponding value, which is right here, which is -2. Okay. Now we want to be able to go for f. Our f is asking us the inverse function of -2. Okay. So we're right here. Inverse function of -2, we're right here, and that's going to be 0. Okay. And then we're going to have g. Our g is asking us to evaluate the inverse function of, looking at the inverse function of 3. Right? Okay, it's 3. Inverse function of 3, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3. And we come down, and that's going to give us, this is going to give us -3. -3. Okay. And then lastly, we're looking at the inverse function of h, which is inverse function of 4. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. You come down, and they're going to give you a negative 4. Okay, so this is all your answers. Answer, answer, answer. And these are your A, C, D, E. And this is your A and B. These are all your answers. Okay?